purpose of this discussion is how are we going to go next year with the learning from this year. There are 2-3 things that I'm just kick-starting thing is that we really had not expected so many registration to come by. The second is, so it was a good problem to have, so much so that our staff called them to tell that, can you not come only one day out of 2 days so that we can manage you well. But anyway, so we had a little management. But in the sense, the second thing is that a lot of young crowd, which was very good, because usually when you talk about the discussion, these kind of things, we hear each other. Everybody talk to each other about the same problem and we note down the same. But here we had young people, students, senior students, community, academicians, they were all present. Third thing is, we also realized that many platforms, the corporate platforms, were missing. Even though we were talking about them, which is the corporate was a little low. And the fourth thing is, too many sessions to air, but that is all logistics. I don't want to get into, but in terms of, this is what my observation was. Maybe we can start from the corner. What are the 3 things that you observed, and what are the couple of things that you would like to suggest, Neeti? No, you can do it from there.
Thanks, Osama. I think it has been an absolute privilege to be here, and I feel extremely rewarded to have spoken to and met so many people who are currently at university, who are currently understanding where they fit into our shared future. I don't think as people who are part of this community or communities very often have this chance that you've managed to facilitate. So I just wanted to say congratulations. This has been absolutely fantastic. I think just in terms of things that I wanted to very quickly bring up, because I want to hear more than I want to speak. When I saw the title of the session, there were 2 words that stood out for me. One was justice and one was communities. If we are to understand the textbook definition of justice, it usually means fair and impartial treatment for everyone. I would implore everyone to completely ignore that definition, because I think we need partial treatment of people. The communities that we serve every day do not need fair and impartial treatment. I think they come with differentiated realities that must be recognized, and therefore the treatment and the service that we provide should match their differentiated realities. So the communities that we're building here need to understand that the circumstances, the barriers, the needs that inform our stakeholders and the people that we're serving here are so diverse that we need to match our approaches, we need to match our insights to their lived realities of every day. And the second thing that I wanted to focus on very quickly is the phrase communities. Osama, I think the DEF through the years has done a brilliant job of building communities. And we've heard so many reflections through the 2 days about how people often tend to get extremely fragmented and work in silos and often duplicate efforts, etc. And I want to also take this opportunity to maybe say that we then need to make more efforts, better efforts at coordinating our efforts to come together as communities, come together as people practically focusing on very, very similar issues, right? Even though we serve in different parts of the region, even though we serve different communities, but the issues, the heart of the issues that we care about is essentially the same, which is creating value for people to benefit from technology, the internet, and our digital future. So with that, I'll maybe stop in the interest of time and hand it over.
Thank you so much. They're very valuable. And as you can see, everybody is noting down. Thank you. Siddesh.
Yeah. So most of the people will be speaking good about the conference. I will say 3 bitter things because I come from a community which has had a bitter past. So I would like to show this slipper which is not to the event, but this is the technology that some people of India only have, and I've met those people. So till the time, we will not talk about digital social justice, there is no digital justice. I have been working, with the climate crisis for 10 years. It took me 10 years to make them realize that the marginalized communities are at the forefront of the climate crisis. And now these are the only communities which are, getting us rid away from these crises. So I think, we need to, bring this notion of social justice with the digital justice. We can't just whitewash on a rotten wall, because the foundation of this country is rotten because of the discrimination that goes in this country with, everyday life. So I think that social justice element, should be there. One other thing was that I wanted to say was about the gaze. So I saw certain images, because I mostly work with images. I saw certain images shown in the presentation which had a lot of gaze. I don't know if people were asked to be, shown in a certain way. So, when you photograph a person, or when you take a picture of a person, when you make an illustration of a person, there is a dignity of that person. When you draw somebody, or when you take a photograph, you take their soul, you make them naked. And how much of nakedness can you show? That is something that should be, something to think about by different panels, who have shown, a lot of images which might not be very respectful to the people. The third thing that I would, like to say, that, I see a lot of hope. I see a lot of hope that, we all have come together, and, we all have a vision, making, towards making justice a priority. But I think that, we should look at those people, who still don't even know the meaning of justice. There were still many people, who were like, when we are talking about gig economy, let's have people in the crowd who are a part of that gig economy. Let, them also hear things about that. So I think that mix of, there is a lot of class here. So I think, that mix of class is also very necessary. Mix of caste is very necessary. I've been working with BLM for a very long time, and there are some similarities with, AI. When we see BLM, Black Lives Matter in US, when they generate images on AI, it is very white centric. When we generate images in India, it is Brahmin centric. I asked ChatGPT, to tell me what I do, on the basis of whatever I've done. So it gave me this whole essay about, he's an anti-caste storyteller, artist, and everything. But when it created an image, it made me a Brahmin. So why is this happening? Because, as I said earlier also, we have not been a part of the decision making. When these communities will become a part of decision making, they just do not know your language. Do not think of them as foolish people. They have been surviving as long as you have been surviving, with least comfort. So they have a lot of brain, they have a lot of knowledge. There is only a difference of, the language or the jargons that we speak in. I think, if we collaborate, if we have that, I would love to see that mix of people. I would love to see a mix of caste, of class, of gender. And that would be the most beautiful thing that we would be able to, produce. And I think that would be, I don't have word for that. But thank you very much for having me here, and I'm really privileged to be a part of it. I would come next year even if you don't invite me, because I will make sure that social justice is there in these walls. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim, Jai Savitri.
No, so point well taken, and thank you for letting us know that whatsoever effort we have made, it's not enough actually. We need to put a lot of effort, because there is this whole growing up with privileges. You don't even know how deep you have to go to bring out those diversity of knowledge, the subjugation, the justices that is required to create this color, not just green color, there are millions of color that should be represented. And we will ensure next year when you come, you will be zapped to see the colors. For sure, yeah, absolutely, for sure. I have no doubt about it. No iota of doubt that we can easily make it. Yeah,
Coming here is justified.
yeah. We will have the right of colors. Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to say two things. Anybody who is writing the post-it, you can write in any language that you want. You don't have to be in English. We can read through photo, literation. What is the language that we want to read? So no problem at all. You can write that. And the second thing I also want to say is that one organization that I forgot to mention since yesterday, Purpose, is very generous to support this this entire event, but more particularly they wanted to organize a particular session for themselves, but there was some lack of availability of some people, so they supported this particular deliberation also. So good to have them with us in supporting, and I just wanted to recognize their partnership and their support. Thank you, Mr. Raidu, who is actually ISOC Hyderabad president. He was also not only representing ISOC Hyderabad, but many of his colleagues from international ISOC couldn't make it. So they also requested that maybe he can also represent them. But if you have a couple of points to make, kindly please.
Yeah, thank you, Sama. As he says, I am from ISAC, Internet Society Hyderabad chapter. And in fact, Internet Society also has asked me to represent ISAC here. So I'm here. And I'm basically a technical person. I'm from the software industry. So I won't talk much about the justice or the rights, but about the community networks. The ITU statistics itself says that there are about 2.6 billion people who are still offline. They are not connected. So the ISAC always works for reaching the unreached. So we have a project called Community Networks. Till now, we have about over 100 community networks established all over the world, say Africa, Asia, and Latin America, even Arctic, everywhere. So, and we are expanding it day by day. So, it's required because for the services or for the products, in the remote places, for them to reach to the consumers, the internet works very well, and even healthcare and education, as Mr. J.S. told, during the COVID time, only through the reaching through mobiles or internet laptops, they used to take classes. So, in fact, from our chapter also, we helped some communities. We distributed laptops to the underprivileged persons. So that way, community networks are essential for this. Basically, it's a digital public infrastructure which pays well over a period of time. It cannot, it's not a trade. It cannot pay off immediately, so it pays off over a time. So either governments and also the corporates, they have to invest heavily on this digital public infrastructure, which is taking shape very well in India. Compared to any other country, I think India is much better in establishing the digital public infrastructure. So, and we at ISAC Hyderabad also, we are setting up a community network, especially for the community of fishermen. And here, when you talk about the community networks, normally the perception is that it should be geographically at a place. But now in our chapter, we are trying to see why it should be geographically in one place. It can be because it works on the network. It works on internet. So why not it be located in different places and connect them through the internet? That's what we are trying to establish. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we move to more, the academic side of the?
Thank you, Soma bhai. This has been really interesting, and I see that this gathering gives a possibility of citizens lobbying for the regulation and for the meaningful access and meaningful regulation in the access, I think, to that of the internet and also the use of that. Few things I will say that where in the last 2 days we have seen that larger umbrella problem and broad problems have been highlighted, and sometimes they have been repeated also because we know those problems. Now we have come to that level. So I will ask for the future, maybe something more that what may be there in the next year. And something which I have gathered from the Professor Sachidanand from JNU, he is here, from his talk and my own understanding, few things which I want to highlight, that access is one part of it, but we need to also understand the global economy, the way it is evolving and using the technology, particularly the internet, to spur the economic growth. The results which actually we do the research, and my own department, myself, we have rigorously engaged into that. What is the evidence that internet leads to the economic growth? That is the simple question I'm asking. And when we took from 1981 to 2020 data and created a panel of maybe 156 countries, I found that it is the highly developed countries where a percentage change in the utilization of internet will lead to the 0.26% increase in the growth rate of the per capita GDP. The growth rate of the income in the poorest country, and particularly in the lower middle where India is located, is approximately 0.01. You can imagine 0.01. The elasticity, why it is not there. Now the two questions which are interconnected. Is there is a lots of digital divide or the way we use internet as citizens? That is the reason what actually is happening? And I will come to the next problem, inequality, rise of that. Is the most people who are getting access are the common citizens which are not able to economically use the internet, instead using 600, 700 and giving this to the VI, Vodafone Idea or Geo Infocom, and so that is actually depriving those households out of the disposable income because there is no meaningful income generation through the access. And is that is happening? That is undermining the India's economic performance through the internet. Why it is so different from the developed countries or this country? Now we need to have answer that, because the second question need to be answered again meaningfully, that what we have seen, that the great transformation which is underway. And again I will say that the one transformation the world has seen was when the feudal system collapsed, and there is a one economist, Yanis, actually talks a lot on that, that from feudalism to capitalism saw a kind of transformation where the landlords who were taking the rent from the serf gave the way to the machine owners, and the rent turned into the profit. Now in the capitalist system, the capitalism is moving to the new direction, which actually as a academics we can find out, where from profit we are moving to the rent. Rent means that again this great transformation is underway where the producers are losing power to the Amazon, which is by platformization, where the selling and buying rather than producing is the business, and 40% of the profit is taken by the either Uber, Ola, Amazon, or any platform. So now in this kind of situation, if the citizens do not, our countries, our states are not able to stop the monopolies which are underway. Because if you look at the last top 10 countries, 7 countries have the $1 trillion, 7 companies basically are from the software renting companies, those who are in the trillion, like 2 trillion, 3 trillion, 2 trillion Microsoft, 3 trillion, maybe 2 trillion Google. Enormous power they are gathering. And Indian capitalism, Indian digital capitalism and cloud capitalism I was looking at, India is going to have in 2028 by about 1 trillion in this whole process. GDP emerging from that 20%. Now, if the 20% of the income goes to this powerful like Geo Infocom, which is growing very fast, even leaving behind TCS, enormously powerfully growing, and growth rate has been almost 350% annual basis. And this is the kind of thing. Now the concern is what will happen to the citizens? Are these easy access to the internet siphon off their money to these infocoms? That is the question now all of you need to ask, maybe the more finer way, and see that what is the economic output when we provide the internet. Obviously, it brings lots of possibilities, but we have to also look at how the inequality we can minimize, how the access to the many things. Obviously, human capital formation can happen that lead to the drive the economic growth, but what will happen to the that kind of question? And the second part, very quickly, I will come because of lack of time. That one thing is the Garrett Hardin is one who wrote the Tragedy of Commons in 1966. He's a very well-known, economist who wrote that the technological solution to a moral problem is not possible. Technology cannot solve many things. In fact, technology can create more moral problem, not solution. And this is what actually inequality, what I mentioned. So this is something where the citizens need to softly, I know that citizens have no power to vigorously impact the state and corporate, but somewhere they have to align and be a power, which actually maybe Osama bin Laden has created this kind of lobby where actually they negotiate with the state, come to that kind of conclusion. That way, this possibility. Third very important point, which actually I would like to point, that there is a lots of behavioral change which is emerging because of the access. That's what I said. It is the first argument I said. Most of the people when enter into the internet, if you look at the time use on the internet, it is not economic, non-productive, and that where we have to be also offering a campaign along with that, so that the social division, the ethical and moral problem which are emerging, the abuses which are emerging, the violence which is emerging, the stereotyping which is emerging from those issues, they are meaningfully brought. And as a citizens, we are conscious that we have talked about the access issue, but there is a next level issue which we need to really regulate and move forward. With this, thank you.
Thank you. आप बहुत इमोशनल हो रहे थे. No, thank you very much. And one of the things that we also feel very strong about is that last year when we added the academic research into the DCS deliverable, that actually makes everything as if we are recording, we are researching, we are finding, and we are accountable that every year we will come back and present it. So, converting the event into accountability is, I think, one of the things that is a good thing about DCS, because usually it's all, we have been attending IGF for the last 20 years, ever since WSIS has happened. But many of us also say that IGF in UN has given that so that our steam is just come out, not to do anything, but just that civil society keep on saying something, so there is a platform, but coming out with this kind of academic record is like data is being recorded to say the impact is very, very important. And when you say behavioral thing is the next challenge, is something that is a topic that we can think of to do a deeper research. Even your last session, about the gender thing, there is a lot of social and behavioral norms are going into that. When we are doing work in the ground level, we are seeing that even the unconnected people are so much impacted because of the link, because of the connectivity. They are not connected, but their life is, the people who are getting lynched, the people who are getting hated, All of them are not connected, but they all are impacted and affected. So there is a huge thing. You are talking about this social injustices for millions of years are happening. Now the same injustices are vocalized on online medium so much. It's not funny. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, Sonia.
Okay, so I've been very fortunate to, speak to many of you throughout these last 2 days. So all I'm going to say is thank you. Thank you for welcoming us here. Thank you for allowing us to learn from you, to really build on our knowledge so that we can be better in what we do, so that we can also share more with you. But mostly, I just want to thank all of you for your kindness, your welcoming, your warmth. And I hope that we can continue to do meaningful work that we can collaborate and together do more. So thank you. Thank you, Osama, for everything that you do to make this possible and for including us. So thank you to the DEF team and to everyone that is here. Just really fortunate and very happy that we can be here learning from you. Thank you.
You're being very short, so don't worry. We will expect you to bring more delegates next year, participate much with more people. I know. So, no, the food is not ready before 7. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's important. But thank you very much, and we are, at the backroom discussion, we are discussing that all the international delegates who have a membership-based delegates are we are going to request to bring more and more partners so that our learning becomes much more widespread, because the people who are not connected and inaccessible and who are on the wrong side of the axis, the problem is more or less the similar. The exclusion stories are almost like similar. So, but we need to bring all of them to make the voice much more stronger. Yeah. So, Lauren, thank you very much for being here and make the USA represented. Also, because you are part of many of such experiments that we do. You people support. And that makes a lot of difference. We have done so many work with USAID, and going to do many work. And also thank you for bringing this 80 to $100 million fund also to do more experiments, increase the scaled up experiments. But yeah, please share what was your last couple of days of observation and what are your suggestions?
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy to be here and represent USAID with a few of my other colleagues as well. I want to echo some of my fellow panelists. I think it's been so helpful to learn from so many of you and so many young people, so many students in the crowd. And so I've really appreciated that interaction and those conversations we've had. I mean, absolutely, this intersectional lens and intersectional representation, it's been wonderful to see that be part of a few sessions here and there. Can absolutely be even more pronounced next year, but I really appreciate that perspective as well. And definitely echo the thanks of everybody here. I think one of my recommendations perhaps is just, there was so many amazing lightning talks, and we were all kind of competing, and, I didn't get to hear from so many of you in those, and I think when we come to these conferences, sometimes we self-select a little bit into what we are more used to, or what we're kind of still going into our silos a little bit. For instance, I'm thinking about the wonderful session that I saw from Point of View, which is really about this feminist view of data collection and AI. And, I wish that everybody could have had, that kind of perspective, because it's so important, right? And I think that, unfortunately, with this advent of these technologies and with all the opportunities that come with AI, the other side of that, and it's not necessarily something we all want to think about, or we all want to have cloud our great optimism of what these technologies can bring. But I think that it's just really important for us to be cognizant and be vigilant about those issues. Just to bring out one stat that I have seen to really illustrates this issue, 96% of all deepfakes that are created are non-consensual sexual deepfakes. 96%. And of those 96%, 99% of those are of women. And so I think that, I do not think that the technologists and that the coders that were creating these amazing technologies that can bring so much efficiency to our world necessarily anticipated these unintended consequences, but it's so important for us to bring that into the conversation, bring diverse perspectives into the conversation so that these safeguards and protections and accountability can really be part of those models. So just want to highlight that. But again, thank you all so much for sharing your knowledge with me, and it's been such a pleasure to be a part of this.
Thank you very much. And, Lauren is going to Georgia. So anybody wants to go to Georgia and, feel invited, please get in touch with her. But thank you very much for your suggestion. And I'd come to Siddharth, but I also wanted to convey to many of you is that Siddharth is also one of the very hard backroom player in making it more inclusive, more representative, more diversified. And there is one sentence he said about a couple of hours back that I don't run company because I want to make profit. He said, I run company so that I do my social work. So it's the first time somebody said that because I need some money to, not to be dependent too much. So I do social work first, but since I also need money, I run company also. So a couple of things that I want your team to do next time is that can you create an intranet of all the rooms and make a kind of local YouTube channel we can watch any room, what is happening there in any screen, in anywhere. So like 10 screens every floor with a headphone, so that if I'm not coming, I'm listening here, or maybe in the food area or something. And we just don't miss, and if you don't have to come inside, I can listen from outside, considering that next year will be more crowded. And you have all those Wi-Fi boxes to do all that, so you can create that. That's my demand from this partnership. But over to you, please share.
Thanks, Osama. First, thanks for including us into Digital Citizen Summit. On the thing that you've asked, we can also add Q&A to that. Anyway, so there are 5 points that I wanted to bring to everyone from what we have learned in this years. Especially last 2 days have been a lot of learning and also sharing. We have seen a diversity of in participation. And these 5 points which I've seen in many of the sessions is, number one, we need to decentralize digital power so that more local economies flourish. Number one, we need a more ethical and inclusive AI. Number two, we need data sovereignty for all. Number four is community networks as the best way that you can ensure digital inclusion. And the fifth one, we all have a responsibility for a collective, more progressive digital future. If anybody who thinks it's not my job, you're already doing injustice to many. So even though you don't believe that every single person have a role really in creating a future, I mean, really we are in that place. The next decade continues the way it is happening right now. Forget about thoughts, even your thought chains, everything is will completely be controlled by very few people in the whole world, which needs to be built up from the grassroots. Against that, we need to have all that responsibility shared among all of us, and that's how we need to go forward, as what I wanted to put forward. And the participation, there are farmers were in this summit, students were in the summit, professors were here, school teachers were here, entrepreneurs were here, social entrepreneurs were here. Summit heard all of them, and all of them heard the summit. So we have, for the next year, since the dates are already finalized, I think, we believe quantitative changes always gives you qualitative changes. This time we had a quantitative change in a higher way in terms of participation. Next year we can also look at more sub-summits if possible, regional area and other ways. Thereby we can bring in much more diverse representation and hear to more, and many more hear us. So that's what I see. And once again, thank you very much for making us part of this. We not only loved being part of this, but we see it's our responsibility to take this forward from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Uh, one or two things that I discussed off the stage with a couple of people who were making suggestions to do it. Mobilizing students to make presentation also, not just participate, is one of the things that people said in, and we can use the format which can go parallelly. There is one organization who offered to do internship with the students as a job, a paid internship for 8 months with 3D printing and innovation, and who can go on practically learn in rural India as part of the internship to see what kind of products may be required in that area and how the same kind of skill can be developed. Rajan initiated that dialogue. Then I remember Rajneesh was saying that can we do a kind of just on the spot marathon of social justice related applications, competition, and we just give the financial award right there itself. Go and take it, and we do some thing, and we will figure out how to get that support available so that it can become also that you are not, I mean, even the developers who can think of some solutions can participate. I already talked about more if the government is not ready to face the people to listen and all that, we can have a closed door policy meetings with them here. So that they can go around, meet informally, but actually have a discussion in the room that what is going on, and we can have a government vertical. Similarly, the corporate vertical, much more. I mean, not that corporate are totally missing, but the point is, we have more stronger participation. And of course, run up to the event kind of thing from regional and other places, even if it is online. So these are some of the things. There is a huge feedback has come here. I think we will have to create a bulletin board of that. But one caught my eye saying that, where is my tote bag? So, yes, no, this is serious, Yeah, दिमाग को थैले में रखना होगा तो कहाँ से रखेंगे? So and then somebody said so many good things are happening at the same time. How do we enjoy all the good things? So it's a good problem to have, but there should be more workshops, not just talks, is what is written. Then somebody said, I haven't eaten since morning. Is it because you didn't available, or it's too good? The food for thought was more better than the food. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. I don't know. I'm thankful for being here, hoping that, this is okay. We will be happy with this event. This is happy, good. I hope you will be the best beat the next time, whatever. Yeah, this is. Oh, somebody has said overall 9 by 10, food 5 by 10, venue 9 by 10, session 9 by 10. We need to work on food, I guess. Huh? Rating is correct, huh? Okay. Okay. These 2 days enlightened us, made us realize right for digital access. Yeah. I want to read more critical ones. This is all session resource persons were very informative. You just saved their job. Okay, suggesting please arrange. Oh, please arrange non-veg and kit bags for all. Yeah, this is important. So we need to give bags to everyone. So maybe we were running short of because of a lot of people came, I guess. Arrange more programs of this kind. Great place, not what we talked. No, I added the second part. Uh, yeah, so this is a lot many. We will have them uploaded so that everybody can read both as a scanned and also transliterated. I would say thank you very much, because perhaps maybe in a relaxed manner we will talk more and we can give a better feedback than sitting on the stage. So we'll continue to gather more feedback in the next 1.5 hours while we are eating. Thank you very much. Rajneesh was trying to indicate something, as if that this is something.
So when I do this, Osama starts to wonder, oh, what's he going to say next? He's going to criticize something. He's going to make life hell for me. His staff will be even more worried because having known and worked with Osama for 20 years, I've given them a really hard time on many things. What some of you may not be aware of is that I'm one of the co-founders of this event, but I prefer to take a back seat to this. However, this year and next year, we have some interesting plans for this event. So I just wanted to say that some of the suggestions were really good and we will act upon them. There are some other things that Osama and myself are working on, and stay tuned. And I do hope you come back, but also you bring back other stakeholders. Indeed, the private sector was not as present as I hoped they would be, so next year we'll try and change that. I want to see more startups here. I want to see more innovation-oriented things here. Now, one of the things that the last 2 days has discussed, you may or may not look at it that way, but we've been talking about digital development issues. But just apart from the issues, we've been talking about the implications of digital development. So I think that's an interesting differentiator, that we're not just talking about how to bring about digital change, but what does that digital change mean when it does come about? And why I think this event is unique, and we'll try harder to make it even more unique, is because there is no real other platform like this in this country that I'm aware of. And I will go so far as to say I'm not convinced there's one like this in the region anywhere. So we've tried to give it a bit of an international flavor this year. We'll try and do more so next year, and make this hopefully a more regional event as well, or more, as much as we can. Obviously, there are limitations to how far we can go down that path. There's one thing we haven't done yet. Making an event like this happen and run and work requires a lot of people. People like Osama with his turban are very visible. Me with my bald head, I'm somewhat visible. But there are people behind the scenes who make this happen. So the deaf staff, can I have you on stage, please? All of you, come on, get up here. Get up, get up. Don't be lazy, get up. Where's our AV support team, our tech team? Please come up on stage. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. People do want to go to dinner, so don't keep them hungry. Come on, come on. Come on, get on stage. And partners as well. We have quite a few partners here with staff, including my own team. Please get up on stage. So, if you're a partner, there's a long list of them. So please, if you're from one of those organizations, please join us on stage. Is that it? All right. I'm sure there's a few others. Come on, don't be shy, don't be shy. I'm not scolding anyone. Not yet anyway, come on.
Where is Vamsi? Jenny, come in front. Raina.
This event would not be what it is without all of you. So please acknowledge yourselves and acknowledge your peers and acknowledge your colleagues. Thank you. I also want to thank all the people who came from overseas to attend this event, and I hope you come back. Tell your friends about it, tell your network about it, and let's make this bigger and better. And once again, a round of applause for the people who made this happen. Thank you.
So for those who might be knowing me for many years, you might be hearing from me in all the events a lot. But this year, I'm sure all of you know, nobody heard from me. So it's only because of the impeccable implementation of the team. In fact, the team heard more from all the partners than anybody else. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, this is, and many of them were not involved in last year also. So you can imagine, there was only one English mistake.